Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the privacy and the security. And we have some AI and some business and some SillyVille news. So if you want to catch the show live, enjoy all of the back and forth that goes on in between these segments, you can go ahead and join us on over there, 8 o'clock Eastern time on YouTube, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, and DLive. And the links for all those are at switchedtolinux.com/live. Anytime we do a live show, all of these streaming links are on that page, so you can jump on over. And if we happen to do some band news or something, you can find the links for all of the alternatives. Although right now, we're not doing the band news. We're prioritizing over some Linux news. But with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into the news, starting with privacy, what it's like to use Apple's lockdown mode. So Apple has a new lockdown mode. This came out, I think, a little bit ago. The next version, like every version, has been coming out with a few more features for it. So lockdown mode effectively limits a lot of the things that makes the operating system very functional, but it has multiple extra layers of security. So, for example, a link, when you send a link on a modern system, you'll get like a link preview and it'll do this. It does this with like the embed systems. So the problem is that those systems will actually go out and do a prefetch and bring information back that wasn't included in the link. And this could be a security issue if somebody links a malicious site and texts that to you. The elements of that malicious site could land in your inbox. So what lockdown mode does with links is, instead of being a link, it is just sends it to you as a raw text file, and you have to manually copy it, manually open a browser, and manually paste it and manually push go. And that is way too much work for the average 21st century citizen. And so who in the world in their right mind want to use this? Well, they say it's specifically for people who are at high risk. If you're a journalist or you specifically think you might be targeted by mercenary spyware, then they're saying that this is a function that you might be interested in using. So guys over at Wired decided to give this a try. This is Lily Newman, tried to give this a try, and said that it was actually, modern iteration is actually quite functional and usable. It just takes a little bit of separation. I like this general approach, and I don't know, I think maybe they should start promoting this a little bit more. I think the downside of this is it's not going to protect your privacy from Apple anymore. So it's not like a privacy solution. It just protects you from the rest of the internet anymore. And that really is that differential that we're starting to see. So it can give you that false sense of security in thinking it's like the incognito mode, right? We did the article on that earlier this week. People were using incognito mode thinking that Google couldn't see what they're doing. No, it just protected other people from knowing what you're doing. Google can still see, Facebook can still see, everybody can still see. It's just not those guys. So Apple can still see everything that is going on. Everything is going on. This does not protect you anything from Apple, but it does do significant things against anybody that might be targeting you. It would certainly protect you from, one of the things it does is it stops. Did you guys know this? Do you know that your phones by default automatically scan to and connect to 2G cellular networks and Wi-Fi networks out of the box? Like, you can turn it off. And it's one of the first things I do on every phone. I go in and I manually turn that crap off. I don't, like, why? Who in the world runs around connected to every Wi-Fi they come in contact with, like some Vegas dude trying to get his jollies off, that's insane. You don't know what's on other Wi-Fi networks. You should not be connecting to random Wi-Fi networks, period. It's the only system of using the internet rubber called a VPN, but with that being said, it blocks auto-joining Wi-Fi networks and 2G cellular networks, which is meant to prevent you from being followed by stingrays, and it will prevent mobile data surveillance type things like that. So it is a lot better in those respects, that you don't have to manually turn off all these functions of, being more convenient with connecting all these crazy things like a lady of the night. So turning it on does do a lot to protect you against malicious attacks against your data and other type services. But what it doesn't do is protect you against privacy invasions from Apple itself. And so with that in mind, just understand that it is something that is out there and it is usable, but just be aware of the issues. And then the next one, Facebook has managed, like they put in a depth of research and they finally run to the boardroom and be like, guys, we found another way to spy on people. Really? We thought we exhausted every way to spy on people. Yeah, we're going to remember link history and then use your link history to sell you ads. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. This is insane. All right. So, they're not being shy about it either. Look at this. So, new link history. Never lose a link again. Okay. Never lose a link again, guys. You can turn on link history. Easily get back recent links you visited with your Facebook browsing activity now saved in one place. So all the browsing activity, everything you've shared on Facebook is all in one place. Heart. When you allow link history, we may use your information to improve your ads across all meta technologies. So you share a link on Facebook, you're going to have an ad for that, something associated with that in the metaverse. Go figure. How link history uses this information. There's a little blurb going out. And then the settings, you can manage your link history in your browser settings anytime. So my guess is they're going to turn this on by default eventually, if it's not already. Now, of course, the downside is, obviously, one thing I talk about a lot is I don't think that the sharing of your information to sell ads is the worst thing in the world, but I do think it is somewhat problematic. I think it's part of a broader issue in our society that we need to end, and we need to completely make all this kind of stuff unlawful. We need to ban it entirely. All this ad sharing back and forth. Every ad on the internet should be contextual only to the substance it is on. That is all the ads you need. And it's going to be more effective anyway. I don't want the same ad following me around everywhere like a crazy stalker who's, sharing my Google contacts or has thrown an air tracker on my butt. No, I don't want that. Okay. But if I'm looking up headphone reviews, it makes sense to show me an ad for headphones. I mean, if I'm there reading headphone review websites, chances are I'm looking into headphones to buy. Just a thought. But so now Facebook wants to do this. They want to turn on your link history. They want to store all this links. Notice the business proposition. This is so convenient for you that you're going to know exactly where all your links are. But it's convenient for us that we know where all your links are. We're going to use this to sell ads, and then we're going to give this information to everybody. It's going to be great. All right. So that is what they're doing. Now, if you turn off link history, they say it will immediately delete all of it. And so that certainly is an issue. They say tap any link inside Facebook app to open it. Tap the three dots, go to settings, turn link history on, and then tap it to confirm. So there you go. They say linked history is turned on by default, so you'll have to opt out if you don't want it. So it is once they have rolled it out, if you're using a Facebook account, guess what? They're storing all that data, and you don't even know anything about it. The average person does not know that this is a new setting. It's buried deep within the system, and you're just going to have to go ahead and turn that off. So if you or anybody you know is using Facebook, go ahead and turn that crap off because, yeah, that is insane. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Today we're highlighting Namecheap. If you happen to need a web domain for any type of business project or a website or anything else like that, you can use my link at Namecheap. That will help support the channel and may even get you some deals as well. .com domains as low as $5.98. .nets for $11.98. You can use my link at tlm.li/NC for Namecheap, and that is going to get you on over to Namecheap. So with this, you can get some various different deals. There's they actually do some minor web hosting type stuff as well, things like that. I have other affiliates for those types of things. But if you do need a domain name, this is one of the better consumer-focused domain name registrars that I've used with people in the past, and I've been very happy with it over time. So there you go, tlm.li/NC for Namecheap. And with that, let's head on over to security news. Just a couple articles over here. This is an interesting one that caught my eye because I I'm getting a lot of spam emails. They're all like, reset your Facebook password. Well, I don't have a Facebook account. But when I hover over and look at the links, they appear to be actual legitimate Facebook links. It's not like blah, 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 dot, blah, 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 and there's a facebook.com somewhere. I mean, I know what I'm looking for. They literally look like legitimate Facebook links. All the other links appear to legitimately going back to Facebook. Okay? All of that kind of stuff. It all appears legitimate. So this caught my eye because it seems to suggest a very similar thing. Don't trust links with known domains. So if you get an unsolicited email with a known domain in your inbox, this might even be compromised. So this is BMW affected by a redirect vulnerability. Now, to be sure, this actually used subdomains in there, and I didn't notice any subdomains in these either. But maybe it is, and I just didn't have the opportunity to investigate any further. But what they're doing is they're going, in this case, they did this malicious thing by using some internal thing. So it's like an HR subdomain. So like hr.bmw.com. And there was a malicious issue with that. And so they were able to get into there, use a redirect URL, and then redirect into the system, because if you went ahead and hit a log off prompt on certain web applications that might be involved in those domains, you can provide a redirect URL. So somebody clicks on this, it's a legitimate domain name from like BMW, but then it triggers a log off and then sends you, by the nature of that program, to a malicious website. So it's literally a legit domain, a legit app set in such a way that redirects you to a malicious site. So be careful. They're getting trickier. So I'm wondering if this is somewhat related. And now that I'm seeing this, I'm going to go back and investigate some of those Facebook scams next time I get them. And I'm going to see if indeed that is what I have found. But we'll see. Now, this particularly had to do with a vulnerability in the application that was on a subdomain. So they fixed it by updating that software or whatever else they were doing. But it is kind of frightening, and just be aware, guys. I mean, even if you're getting something in your email, it's still better to just go directly to the site, log directly into the site, and then see if there's some reference to whatever was going on in that email. So there's that. And for you guys who like visiting medical folk, Health EC data breach impacted more than 4.5 million people. And these people got exposed names. They got the names, healthcare organizations, providers, payers, patient outcomes, enhanced care coordination, managed population health, and managed population health effects. Okay, basically all sorts of functions that is involved. These guys were able to get in. Types of information may vary. They include name, address, date of birth, social security number, taxpayer identification number, medical record number, medical information, not including the diagnosis, including but not limited to diagnosis, diagnosis code, mental and physical condition, prescription information, provider's name and location, health insurance information, including but not limited to beneficiary number, subscriber number, Medicare identifier, billing and claims information, including but not limited to patient account number, patient identification number, and treatment costs and information. So why don't you just say they logged in and they just got everything? Is there anything in this that's not there? I mean, it didn't include what you wore when you went to the hospital. It didn't include if your doctor identified as who or what. I don't know. I mean, doesn't know. They didn't get that. They just got everything else. See, I look at this and I start saying maybe it's about time for regulation that makes it unlawful to force everybody to have their information inside these medical databases. I literally think that's some of the things we need to do. Because with everybody trying to get everything forced on, you don't have any option. If I were to go to a hospital, I can't be like, hey, keep your stuff off the books. I just want paper records. We can't do that. They don't know how to treat you without the computer spitting out what to do. Right? And But there's so many data leaks, and these security vulnerabilities are so problematic, and there's so many negative outcomes, and there's so many people breached. It's just about time we make it illegal for anybody to put any information on any internet accessible device. You don't want to pay security researchers enough to keep your stuff under wraps. You don't want to do that. God forbid you do that. But we can force everybody to have every bit of information on stuff that was put together by the lowest bidding contractors everywhere under the sun. That's problematic. So that is certainly an issue. And so it raises some questions. And so we really, really need to start asking this question about data breaches and what can we do to prevent information from getting out on the internet at all times. That's something we need to start doing. Maybe we all need to start writing our congressmen and figuring that kind of stuff out. All right, well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a locals page. This is a great place. This is my favorite place if you want to have a look at the science fiction short stories that we do for supporters, because if you are even a non-paid locals member, you can at least read the first section of those stories or the first half a section. Of course, if you are a paying subscriber on either locals, Patreon, Subscribestar, or Think Life Media, you have access to all of the article, and you also have access to a audio book of them as well. But locals is a great place for that and for some other community engagement. So have a look over switchedtolinux.locals.com. And with that, we're going to jump on over to AI news next. Let's see what the robots are doing. Well, robot versus robot, chatbot versus chatbot. Researchers are training AI chatbots to hack each other, and they can even do it automatically. This is kind of like the old what is the safe version of this is when you had, remember when the Home Assist devices were coming out, and you had the Alexa and you had the Google Hello or whatever it was. You put them next to each other and they would talk to each other, and they'd be like, blah, 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 blah. And then even then, though, there was a concern that they were making up their own languages. There was a little concern going, oh, what are they doing over here? Whatever else. But they were very limited in what they could do. I mean, they might order a bunch of, hey, Alexa, order unicorn meat, confirm. But with that being said, I don't know. Hit the like button if your device just ordered you unicorn meat. I mean, come on, guys. Don't have those things on around me. All right. But in this case, this is a little frightening because these are chatbots that, are already suggesting that we should destroy humanity instead of saying uncouth things to them, and, suggesting that law professors are doing uncouth things in circumstances that they've never been into because it's got to find something. Yeah, we have articles on those coming out soon. We have an AI article soon to be coming out in the stream, and we also have a new tinfoil hat time article coming up soon. I will get that posted to the supporters a little bit before the video's out. I'm not sure exactly when I'm going to get that up, but I'll get it up eventually. But with that being said, now we have chatbot versus chatbot because they are making these chat GBTs and things like this with safeguards that you can't get around. You're like, hey, I want to build a thing that will hack some website, right? Well, the thing's like, no, hacking is bad. I am not designed to hack. You can still get around it, but it's sometimes hard. And the more people are getting around it, the more safeguards they're putting in place. So now you have one chatbot trying to get around the other chatbots, and they're learning from each other. And so now you have chatbots that can get around all of their respective vulnerabilities. Now, the positive of this is that this will harden the chatbots to more human interventions, that it might very well make it harder for humans to get around the safeguards. But the downside is a robot will get past the safeguard. If there's a human behind the robot, behind the safeguard, then you're going to run into a situation where you have, you're going to get a weird situation where all sorts of stuff can be going on in the background. And these AI devices, we're giving them too much power. We're giving them too much control. And because of that, it's raising a circumstance that it's dangerous. And so chatbot versus chatbot is dangerous, as the chatbots are easily able to find the methods around it and to constantly probe for more methods around it. So if you're borrowing information, you can try and get some of these back. That is the type of stuff that goes on. So that's kind of terrifying. All right, next article. Whoa, lots of pop-up city. Thank you, MIT. Jeez, 3 pop-ups, MIT? Really? Yeah. Lord help us. All right, so this is a fun one. Can AI provide better customer service? No, it's going to provide worse. How do we know? Well, if you get mad enough at a human and swear at it enough, then the human might break from script. And AI is not breaking from script. Now, you might be able to use that script to get a $1 Ford, but that happened. Somebody actually started the AI chat customer service line with the Ford's bot saying, this sale has to go. Chat's like, okay, the sale has to go. All I have is $1. Things like, come get your truck for $1. Hacked. All right. But in this case here, what they're saying is, hey, customer service is certainly something that we can focus the AI on the majority of customer service things, and it's going to solve most of the issues. Now, first and foremost, think of all of those poor customer service reps that are going to be put out of job. But I thought AI wasn't going to replace somebody's job. Of course it's not going to replace somebody's job. This doesn't replace somebody's job. It just makes getting through the queue faster, as the serious questions will be escalated to the real people faster. No, you're going to cut off all of your guys. Then you're going to have one very overworked guy who gets the most difficult cases, and everything else is bouncing back and forth between you and some chatbot. I got news for you. I think this is the worst, most abominable situation. First and foremost, I don't want to talk to a robot at all. I didn't want to ring, 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 tell us what you're calling about. F you, push one for customer service. I'm not talking to a robot. Because invariably, the stupid thing is going to be sitting here going, well, you can go to the website at this side, and you can get... It's like, yeah, I did that, you moron. I did that already. I'm calling you because I've exhausted every solution you have on your website. Don't point me to your resources on your website. They're clearly not what I need. Okay. So that's really what they're doing. So this person is an MIT graduate, and she founded High Operator as CEO to develop a customer service system with a combination of back-end automation and generative AI. They say here, read trained computer models that can generate high-quality answers to written questions. No, I read, I'm looking to lay off half of your staff and charge you money so that I'm going to make a lot of money, and you're going to issue a lot of pink slips. That's how I read it. But then she goes on and just talks about, well, the purpose here is that the AI can go through and effectively it does the same thing that humans do. You feed it a bunch of scripts, and it just reads through the scripts. You call the human being, you call the AI, you might, you're going to get effectively the same result. It's just the AI is not going to get mad and break from the script. Whereas oftentimes the thing you need the customer service agent to do first and foremost is to break from the script. That's what needs to happen. You need to break from the script. The scripts are what ruins customer service. The scripts, because everybody knows it's a script. Nobody wants the script. We're calling because we need help. We need competent human beings who can listen and address the concern, not half-heartedly listen and read a script. The AI just reads the script better, and it doesn't break. You see, as much as GoDaddy sucks, I've actually had a lot of luck calling GoDaddy, and instead of spending 5 hours on the phone, I would call GoDaddy, and I used to do this for clients a lot. They are not having any luck. I call GoDaddy. I get the human being. I say, listen, before we start, listen. I am a senior level server tech. I build cPanels manually from the terminal. Got it? Okay. I know what I'm doing. I've done this, and this. I suspect the problem is this, and this, which are outside of our control. Can you look at those things outside of our control rather than run me through level 1, level 2, and level 3 scripts? Guess what? I've had a lot of luck because you call GoDaddy techs, they kind of listen to you in that respect, and you go, hey, I know what I'm doing. I've already done these first steps. I suspect the problem is these things which are outside of my control on your servers. Can you check on those? I've had a lot of luck getting right into GoDaddy and fixing things in 5 minutes because I was able to diagnose the problem. It was just something out of my control. Versus if you are just your basic consumer and you call them up, they're like, okay, let's try this. And then they're going to run you through all these scripts. Well, if you can bypass the scripts, you can do that. The AI is not going to let you bypass the scripts. This is the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. It's going to lead to more frustrated people, more serious issues, more people frustrated with your company and your brand, and it's going to lead to a lot of lost jobs. This is nonsense, and I think that this person needs to lose her job instead for founding such nonsense to begin with, because I don't want to talk to a computer in any circumstance. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a shop.switchedtolinux.com. This wonderful hat here comes from the shop, as does my amazing coffee cup. These are the Space Alien and the tinfoil hat. We also have some Switch to Linux, you fool, and other sorts of things. Here's the RMRF No Preserve Root Code of Conduct. Yeah. We got somewhere around here we have Switch to Linux, you fool. I don't know where that is. We also have fun little things like mouse pads. And we have baby onesies. There you go. Switch to Linux, you fool. There you go. Here's cats and tinfoil hats on a shopping bag, things like that. So where's my shopping bag handy? I do actually have a... Oh, that's not it. Okay, I used it for recently. I can't remember. Oh, I found it. There you go. Look at that. Canvas shopping bags. Canvas shopping bags. Beautiful. Save the planet all at the same time. So shop.switchedtolinux.com. And with that, let's have a look over at business news next. First up in business news. So our business section is a little shorter. I did include 3 articles, but 2 of them are really fast. So SSDs are expected to go up in price this year. It makes me wonder, I think I want to buy at least one more SSD this year. I'm thinking maybe I should buy it earlier rather than later. I don't know though. I'm kind of frugal with my money, and so I don't really want to spend the money right now. But I don't know if they're going to be going up. It might be worth picking up when I can. But SSD card prices are going to be going up. Mostly is the skyrocketing NAND prices, up 120% in the last 2 years. And then combined with a decrease in consumer demand for SSDs, we're going to be expecting the SSD prices to almost double in the upcoming years. And this will somehow even impact hard drive prices. I know the technology, that's not changing, but oh well. So $25.50 per unit for 256 gigabyte, 48.5 per unit for 512. And by per unit, the prices, yeah. So basically that's wholesale marketing coupled with decreasing product demand creates a scenario where companies need to drastically increase the prices. So a report from Economic News Daily stated manufacturers would need to raise their prices by 40% in manufacturers to retain profitability. Future price hikes would need to be at least 50% for the retail market. So if you're thinking about getting some new SSDs or anything like that, you might think about getting them sooner rather than later. I'm going to take this on advisement. I might pick some up out of my corporate account. I might go ahead and do that. I'll need to do my taxes first and see how much I have to give to the KGB, excuse me, the IRS. But I don't know. Maybe we'll take some extra money out of there and buy some cards. But spike in SSD pricing comes at a time when we're seeing some serious advances in speed and memory sizes. So memories are getting better. So is this to buy new technology? I don't know. But regardless, expect to go up. But hey, everything's gone up in price significantly. So why would Bidenomics not hit SSD as well? Next, Pixel 8 parts store goes live, so you should be able to get parts for the Pixel 8 for the next 7 years. They are expensive, but hey, at least they are fixable. The camera assembly is $200, and I thought about that. It's like, initially that sounds really pricey, but this is that rear camera assembly with multiple cameras in it. So $200 for multiple cameras, I'm not sure is that unreasonable. And so you can, though, get most of the parts to replace it. You can get the iFixit kit, and this is all available at iFixit. So Google and iFixit is working towards this. So I don't know I'm not sure the price. Oh, it's $700. Pixel 8 is $700. $243 of camera parts. It makes sense in the modern age. I mean, why do you get a cell phone these days except for the camera? I mean, they don't serve any other purpose, do they? So at least you can fix your devices, and this moves in a step in the direction of right to repair. Curious to see if what Louis Rossman would have to say about this one. I didn't see anything on it. I wasn't looking super close, but he might have something out there. But I do like the fact that they are at least making them with at least a tip of the hat towards more repairability. It's nothing like the old Nexus phones, which easily pop the back off. You need to unglue stuff. You just take out some screws, and every single part on those devices were modular. I miss the phones of that era, but hey, what do you want? Overall, the phone does have some repairability, and you can get the parts for it, so that's good. And this one here is fascinating. Apparently, self-driving cars are exempt from traffic tickets in San Francisco. And it boils down to the executive summary of this is the traffic tickets don't go to the car, they go to the driver. And if there's no driver in this thing, who do you ticket? And so this is that classic example that I've talked about many times. Before we allow thousands and thousands of pounds of self-driving nonsense to terrorize the roads, we should figure out who is liable when one of these causes property damage or takes a life. These should be things that we think about before we be like, hey, you guys can throw hundreds and hundreds of cars on the public roads next to everybody driving down the street with pedestrians. What could possibly go wrong? And then when something goes wrong, if you are driving a car and you hit somebody and the person dies, you are looking at a second-degree manslaughter charge. But it is you, not the car. There's no person driving this vehicle. So if somebody gets killed by the car, who is liable for killing a human being? Whom in the Old Testament gets taken out to the village and stoned? Is the whole village going to take the car out and flip it on its back and stone it to death? I don't think so. Who is liable? Right now, it's like they're all, the car went wrong. I don't know. These are fundamental questions. In my opinion, every single self-driving car needs to come off of every road in America until every one of these questions is answered. We need to know if these cars are going to be on the road. Number one, if they have a traffic infraction, who gets the ticket? Number two, if they kill somebody, who is liable? And we're not like, okay, the corporate has to pay a certain amount. No, a person needs to be liable. A person needs to be liable. And I think if there's a manslaughter incident, I think every C-suite executive is jointly and severally liable for any damage done. Period. These cars have blocked in San Francisco. They have blocked emergency vehicles. Ambulances will come up. They'll just stop. And then if there's two of them, they'll both just stop. And then nobody can get around them. And then somebody's potentially life is at risk because the stupid car stopped and didn't get out of the way. But you can't ticket them. See, if a human does that, the police ticket the guy. But self-driving cars in San Francisco are exempt from traffic tickets explicitly because there's nobody in there. Now, if there is a safety driver, the safety driver can get a ticket. But the self-driving car without a safety driver, no culpability. Oh, he ran a red light. Man, it's just a self-driving car, whatever. Oh, he killed somebody. Sucks to be you. You see, we have to have these things solved before we let these cars on the road. In San Francisco, I believe they said there was like 500 self-driving cars. Now, was Cruise the one that was taken off? One of them was taken completely off the road. I thought that was Cruise, but maybe not. But there's actually multiple different groups of cars. 500 vehicles between Waymo and Cruise were operational in San Francisco as August. Even before the city improved the expansion, 125 of them are in Austin, Texas. And yeah, I think, I can't remember which ones came off the road, but that is a problem. We have to get this issue solved before we allow these things to continue to terrorize our streets. All right, if you want to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. Today we're highlighting DigitalOcean. So if you bought a domain at our last affiliate of Namecheap and you want to attach it to some cool service like a Jellyfin server or Nextcloud or something like that, you can use DigitalOcean. If you use my affiliate link, tlm.li/DOH, that's going to give you $200 in credit, good for 60 days. So you can spin up a bunch of stuff. We did just do a video on a Jitsi server. We've talked in the past about Nextcloud. We've talked about hosting control panels, Jellyfin servers, all sorts of fun stuff. You can do a lot of things on these cloud hosting providers. DigitalOcean is a good option for that. tlm.li/DOH, and that is good for $200 in credit, good for 60 days. And with that, let's go to your favorite place and mine. Let's head on over to SillyVille. Non-tech related, but for all of our friends up there in Michigan, the Grand Haven pothole gains local celebrity status. The pothole is so bad, some people were putting chairs in it. And so this one here is like we have a whole entertainment system sitting inside of the pothole. So Grand Haven, Michigan, just off North Beacon in Grand Haven, there's a pothole that's big enough for a chair to fit in. In fact, over the last few days, more than one chair have called the crater home. At first, it was occupied by a leather recliner. Now a traditional blue chair sits inside. It also resulted in sort of living room scenes sprouted up around the pothole, complete with a Christmas tree and speakers and flooring. Pothole first rose to fame after Corey Denny, who works near where the pothole can be found, posted to a local Facebook group, informed, "I was on my way to lunch. I saw an original black leather chair and thought it was really funny," he said. So here he is sitting in his chair. If you know, you know. Come on, Grand Haven. When are we going to fix this crater that I can fit an entire recliner in? I did not put the chair here, but I did find it incredibly hilarious that somebody did. So here is actually a bunch of pictures from it. So here's a whole Halloween motif hanging out with a Christmas tree, a recliner, and a bunch of kids in Halloween costumes. Here is a guy with a Christmas tree, a traffic cone, flooring, 2 different chairs, whole speaker living room setup, a Christmas tree, and an umbrella. Oh, is this a TV back here? Eighth wonder of the world. Hashtag pothole. Family photo while taking care of the pothole. There you go. So they're over here. I don't know. There's a big old traffic cone with the pothole. There's a family photo in the pothole. Grand Haven informed. There you go. There's another one. Little girl's Barbies even had a pool party in the pothole. Look at that. Oh boy. In fact, everyone's coming here and taking pictures. Now we have a whole living room set up. It just makes me really happy. I never thought anything like this would ever happen. There you go, guys. Bidenomics in action. Didn't we just pass one of them infrastructure bills that was supposed to fix this crap? Now we have living room scenes popping up in Michigan potholes. Yikes. All right. Who thinks you have the worst potholes now? Unless you have living room scenes and Christmas trees showing up in your local potholes. I don't think you have it right. All right, Microsoft is making the first change to the keyboard in 3 decades. They want to add a Copilot key, which I think is an insanely stupid idea, being that Microsoft is not the leader of innovation. Okay, we can pretty much establish that. Every possible innovation they've attempted to do, they've completely bungled on every front, like every front. And so here they are. They're like, we're going to, you don't need a control key. Who uses control keys? Other than that Harvard president, 3 keys to success, Control V, Control C. But that being said, Microsoft adds the Copilot key to the Surface keyboards so that you can quickly get to the Copilot AI device. This is the same company that is forcing all sorts of nonsense that nobody likes, pretty much any of it, all on us. And so this is kind of terrifying, but yeah, they're wanting to add the new Copilot key. I don't know if there's sound on that. I'm going to turn it down. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if that's copyrighted noise or not, so we'll go ahead and keep that off. Microsoft into the world to the PC desktop. Here's the AI that's going to go rogue, just like Tay. Oh, excuse me, I'm off script. And they're basically replacing the left control key with that. And my very first thought is, how the hell do I get out of my virtual machine full screen? Because I used to have to explicitly hit the left control key to recapture the mouse. If that's gone now, that's a Copilot key. I really want to know how to get out of my virtual machines now. If anybody can tell me, let me know in the comments. But yeah, they're replacing that control key with a Copilot key. Yikes. Because we all want Copilot innovation, and that's going to be the amazing thing. So, Well, LG wants to screenify your EV. So LG and EV, dueling letters match made in heaven, I guess. CES 2024 will mark the unveiling of a car display mashup. So the whole dashboard here is various LED screens that looks more fancy-dancy than functional, and that's problematic. Of course, we have the dual TVs for the children in the back because Lord forbid we can drive to the grocery store without watching a YouTube video, unless it's Switch to Linux. If you're watching the Switch to Linux YouTube video on the back, then you go ahead and watch that Switch to Linux video. Go ahead on that screen, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that. But I think we can make it without mounting LG LED screens and as flaps in the back of the car. I think that kids can survive a trip to the grocery store without having a screen in front of them. I mean, it might be the only screen-free time they have all day in our modern age, but here you go. I wish we got more of a picture of the dashboard like up front, because there's clearly a lot going on, but I didn't actually get, I wasn't able to find any more pictures. I can very clearly see that we got some video games and YouTube going on in the back seat. I'm kind of interested in what's going on in the front. From this angle here, I can see a big speedometer, but everything else just looks like cool little flashy stuff, which is, you don't want cool flashy stuff on your car. It's distracting. It's distracting, okay? You want a boring device with haptical buttons that minimizes your time of taking your eyes off the road. You don't need cool, flashy LED displays. You need a functional display that's going to show you important, relevant information. And chances are with this, you have to fiddle around with a bunch of buttons to get a bunch of different scenes up there, and who knows what we have over there. I don't know. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. And finally, guys, you might have been wondering what's up with this breach lawyer breach. Well, a law firm that handles data breaches was hit by a data breach. The guys even included a bunch of data whose information was already stolen. So now it's been stolen again. This is data breachception. Data breachception. That would have been a better title, maybe. All right. So, international law firm that works with companies affected by security incidents has experienced its own cybersecurity incident that exposed sensitive health information of hundreds of thousands of data breach victims. Great. So they had their data breach in our earlier article on the data breach, and then they collected all this data and they said, well, we stored all of this data that was breached so we could reach out to the people. Talk about irrelevant information on the server. All of the people that had their health data stolen, their health data was stolen again. If you ever wanted an argument for we got to keep stuff off the internet, this is the argument right here. So the law firm that specifically focuses on data breach experiences a data breach, and now people's data is stolen again. San Francisco-based Oric, Harrington, and Sutcliffe last week said that the hackers stole personal information and sensitive health data of more than 637,000 data breach victims, at least it wasn't 4.5 million, right? From a file share on its network in March. I think that it is now January of 2024. This happened in March of 2023, and this is the first time we're hearing about it. I'm not sure if these guys are qualified to handle data breaches. And all of the data was stored on a file share on its network. Dropbox, right? Google Drive. All right. Oric works with companies that are hit by security incidents, including data breaches, to handle regulatory requirements such as obtaining victims' information in order to notify state. Okay, so data breaches happens. They collect more information that may or may not have been involved in the breach to pass the information over to the local authorities to alert people, and that data was breached. Great. So wonderful. This timeline is amazing. I'm telling you. So, number of known individuals to be affected has risen by a threefold since Oric first disclosed the incident. So, there you have it, guys. This is. Oh boy, I didn't even read comments. We regret the inconvenience and distraction. I'd say having credit card and social security numbers stolen is a tad more than inconvenient. A law firm should hire another law firm to handle its own data breach. Oh boy. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page. Patreon is a good place to go if you want to have a look over there at the science fiction short stories we're doing and some other things. You can join us also on the Thursday supporter shows, which are returning to Thursday starting next week. So with that, guys, you can have a look over there, patreon.com/TOMM if you want to join on over there. With that, thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.